Hey everyone, my name's Walter, and I'm here on a brand new channel where I'm just going to be putting out all the content that I don't feel comfortable putting on my main channel. We'll see if I ever get monetized here, but that would obviously lead to more videos. Enough about that though, let's get started. Disclaimer, I would not lose any sleep if you harass this man, but I'm not encouraging you to. I understand why they don't want that kind of behavior on YouTube. I am just here to share with you the story of possibly the most reviled man in the TCAP fandom. Now, why do people hate Jeff Sokol so much? Was it because he was the worst predator? Absolutely not. We had predators that legit seemed to be coming to kill the girl. He wasn't even the one that looked the slimiest. Ryan Gosling or John Dupuis would have to take that honor. But when Chris Hansen walked out on those guys, all their bravado went right out the window and they tried to explain themselves. Jeff Sokol pretty much decided you did nothing wrong. As he'd not actually yet touched someone. It's the blatant disrespect for Chris Hansen that pisses people off so much. I know he's fallen from grace a bit, to put it mildly, but before all this, people kind of thought of him as a hero. Note that this was not on To Catch a Predator. This was on the more recent Hansen vs. Predator series. Now, despite the lack of content, what we did get from this sting was actually really good. There were many top-tier predators. Chris Hansen ran into someone he knew. Even one of the decoys is being named on.
Me, my mommy, and my daddy.
Come and look at this table me and my dad made together back in 1984. That decoy sold me weed back in Woodstock. Decoy, I don't have my ID, but I do have an AARP membership. The decoy was about to say goo goo gaga before Chris walked in. Okay, one more. We hired Jesus H. Christ, a well-known religious prophet, to roleplay as our 13-year-old decoy. God, it's hard to stop reading those, isn't it? Anyway, out of all that came the guy who showed up with a delicious-looking pizza and confidently ate a slice in front of Chris Hansen. We've seen predators eat to try to act casual, but we've never seen this kind of smug arrogance from someone. To start things off, Jeff drove 2.5 hours across state lines in order to visit a 13-year-old whose mom was away on business. Yeah, that's more than a little risky. The chat log is over 200 pages, and I don't feel like getting into it too much, but let me point out a few highlights. He feels the need to warn the 13-year-old girl that he's not very big. After disparaging men that are even smaller, of course. That can't be a good sign. He also asks her if they can drink her mom's booze. Jeff, you're 44. The only thing sadder than bringing alcohol to this 13-year-old girl is asking her to give it to you. And of course the marriage contract. He's not really making the concept up. This is common practice in a lot of states for underage girls to be married with their parents' permission, and it needs to end. Jeff sends this selfie, obviously trying to look younger than he is, but we can all tell he's out of touch because he asks things like, "What's a thought?" and "What does DTF mean?" It's usually like the predators are teaching the decoys, but it's like the opposite here. Do you really think he answered the door for the plumber looking like that? And was the plumber Joshua Cologne? You're almost 14. Fuck it. You're an adult. Oh god, he's a Patriots fan. Just when I thought things couldn't get any worse. Anyway, let's move on. On the way to her house, Jeff stops at Planet Pizza, a local pizza place. He buys a small pizza, which is almost as big as the large, and gets some orange juice. This is now known as the Jeff Sokol Special, much to the dismay of Planet Pizza. Let's see what it says about the place on Yelp. Best pizza around. Me, my mommy, and my daddy all enjoy it. I love the large pizza and OJ deal. I always buy the large because it's about the same price as the small. Whether you're eating alone or sharing with a 13-year-old, you will definitely enjoy. Thanks to my buddy Jeff Sokol for introducing me to this great pizza. Question, does this place really have the Jeff Sokol Special? Is it 2 slices with orange juice? Thanks. Answer, yeah. I guess that's enough about the pizza. When Jeff comes into the house, the decoy is visibly terrified. I mean, if I met someone and they acted like this, I would be a bit put off too. He's a little pushy as he asks her why she invited him over if she's so scared. This man really wanted a hug, but of course he got Chris Hansen instead. He actually asks if Chris was her father. She had said her father was in California during the chat, by the way. Are you her dad? Obviously not, you're still alive. At least all of Jeff's teeth are practicing social distancing. Fucking burn. So he's ugly, has a small penis, and is a pedo? LOL, awesome. The first thing anyone would tell you about TCAP is not to chat up underage teens, but if you have to, don't show up. But if you have to, definitely don't talk to Chris Hansen. But if you absolutely have to talk to Chris Hansen, don't act like this about it. This guy doesn't know who Chris is somehow, and inadvertently pissed off the entire TCAP fandom. Like a lot of predators, he doesn't seem to understand that talking to her about possibly having sex is actually the crime itself. He doesn't even have to show up. Speaking of Chris Hansen, he's not always the most perceptive. This guy takes a pill that Chris implies to be for sexual enhancement, but Jeff claims it's for irritable bowel syndrome. Oh well, Chris's version is funnier. Poor Jeff wasted a Viagra and then had to spend 4 hours with a microboner in jail.
It looks like here you wanted to come here and have sex with a 13-year-old girl.
Okay, is that against the law to
have sex?
Jeff is one of those guys that just can't accept that he's actually doing something wrong. Chris tries time and time again to tell him it's not appropriate to proposition young teens for marriage. Yeah, apparently it's a difficult concept. This guy literally doesn't know how fortunate he is that it's not her actual father, or else he'd be calling him Chris throwing these hands, son. This quarantine really got Jimmy Kimmel in the dumps. This is horrible. Do I look like a dishonest, dirty person to you? Yes. Yes, you do. Of course not. What kind of a dishonest, dirty person shows up to drink with a 13-year-old? That's normal adult behavior. His arrogance doesn't end there either. His police interview is up on Joey's TCAP channel, but it's kind of long. I don't know what it is with these guys and waiving their rights. I don't want to advise predators, but if you're ever in trouble, don't trust the police. They can really screw you over if you offer any information you don't have to. Looking at you again, Joshua Cologne. He'd probably still be eating the pizza if he could, but instead he crosses his arms and tilts his head in the most condescending way. He keeps trying to retcon her age to 14 because she was almost 14. That's not how that works, Jeff. Listening to him trying to explain the law to the officers interviewing him is good for a laugh, though. Sokol would fight his charges, showing up to court with his parents. I don't think I'd want my mom to accompany me to this if it was me. Look, someone on Reddit got a picture of Jeff's new haircut where he's still trying to look younger. I can't believe I'm actually saying this, but the faux hawk was better. I think he's having a midlife crisis. This guy ended up with 7 years, suspended after 30 months, 10 years on the registered sex offender list, and probation until his sentence is up. Yeah, that doesn't sound very fun. People don't talk about the RSO list a lot, but it must be very humiliating. There's a reason people don't sign up even though it means prison time. How lame do you have to be to want to hang out with a 13-year-old? I heard when they took Jeff to prison they had to allocate a cell for each tooth. Oh, here's a good one. Anyone who calls themselves Master of Puppets on LinkedIn is a complete waste. No fucking shit. Just the fact that he's a perfect asshole. He literally thinks the world is wrong and he's right. He even said at his trial that he's being sentenced for something that 100 years ago wasn't a crime. Where does one even begin to pick that flawless defense apart? To be fair, he didn't say that, his lawyer did. Yeah, so what? What difference does that make? Women couldn't vote 100 years ago, now they can. And this is illegal now, Jeff. Wait, I guess they could vote 100 years ago now. How time flies. Get this, Jeff Sokol actually decided to show up on the TCAP wiki and respond to comments insulting him. This is a bad idea. Now people know they control him. Was doing more research, just found out that you would have to get written consent by your mom to get married under 18. Fuck. That's great because it means he's using his Google search results to argue with the cops. I bet they love when people do that. By the way, these tetrad core decoys are so much more well-spoken than the perverted justice ones. Jeff is very clearly the one typing like an idiot. I mean, there's not much else of the story to tell. Jeff made a fool of himself in court, he went through 3 lawyers, the judge wasn't buying his excuses. However, he was eventually released in June of 2019. Well, that leaves time for more comments. The true crime was those selfies, LMFAO. This is what a real predator looks like. Cold and calculated, combined with a complete lack of empathy. Nevertheless, I want pizza now. Gotta be honest with you, I had to have a few slices of pizza while making this video. No orange juice though. This Papa John's commercial is pretty cool. Apparently Planet Pizza is not happy about being associated with a predator. Probably because they get calls asking for the Jeff Sokol special all the time. The small pizza is almost as big as the large. Ask for the Jeff Sokol special. They know who you are talking about. It's worth a 2.5-hour drive. If you have IBS, you may have to pop a pill before eating the pizza like Jeff did. It's so delicious my large intestine can now enjoy it for 2 days as well. You can never tell with these online things, you know? So I drove 2.5 hours here to check out the situation. I was surprised that their small pie was almost as big as the large. They offer something called a Sokol Special, which is a pepperoni pie with extra cheese and a bottle of orange juice. Definitely what you want to get if you're trying to impress your date and her dad. I gotta feel like this place should just roll with it and take the free exposure, but that's just me. This guy is true predator. He dared to drink orange juice with a pepperoni pizza. Okay, people do keep complaining about this, but I think the orange juice was for mixing with the vodka, actually. Which he did bring, by the way. No idea why he was asking her to provide the booze in the chat log. Anyway, that's about it for Sokol, I guess. So let's read a few more comments about the Methuselah decoy. To lure in the predator, we hired an 18-year-old actor that could easily pass for 35. Chris Hansen might as well have played the 13-year-old decoy. After Chris walked in, the decoy went out back to have a smoke, drink a beer, and call his kids. Oh God, has Daddy built that? It's cute. Built good. Me, my mommy, and Daddy, and my receding hairline. Of course, we just laugh at this guy in fun. I think he's a cop now. Sokol is a different story. He's actually hateable. Anyway, that's about all the time I have for you today. Thanks for watching, everyone. Like the video if you liked it. Let me hear your opinions in the comments if you want. Those are always the fun part of uploading. This is a new channel, so if you're new here, consider subscribing for more of the same. I'm going to be a lot less careful with this channel in general. Oh yeah, to address the elephant in the room, I'm clearly on not only a new laptop, but also new video editing software, so this video might be clunky, but I think it'll be better in the long run. Cause Windows Movie Maker is truly awful. Alright, thanks again. My next video will be Reddit stuff on my other channel as usual. Have a great day, everyone, and I hope all this pizza didn't make you too hungry.